Hello, welcome back. In the last video, we learned about clones. In this video, we are going to use clones and everything we have been learning so far to start a new project called the Box Game. Now, I know that name sounds ridiculous, but bear with me. So because this is going to be a complete game, we are going to break it down into 3 parts. In this part, we are going to set up the foundation. We'll create our box clone, make them fall from the sky, and program our cat sprites to move left and right to dodge them. Let's dive in right away. Alright, so we are going to start building our game. The first thing I'm going to do is to delete this sprite here and bring in the sprites and the backdrop we are going to be using for this game. So choose a sprite. I'll search for ladybug and choose this ladybug one. Let's choose a sprite again, and we're going to bring in the cat sprite, but not the regular one. We're going to use this one that is flat on the ground. I'm going to pick cat 2. I'll take the ladybug to the top, and cat is hiding, so I'll show it and take it to the bottom. Now I'm going to change the direction of the cat to 0, so it's pointing to the top, and then I'm going to reduce the size to 70 and move it up a bit. For the ladybug, I'm going to change the direction to 180, so it's pointing down, and I'm going to reduce the size to 50 and take it up to, let's do 180, so it's at the top. Now I'm going to go to backdrop, and the backdrop I want is this star backdrop. Yes, this star's backdrop. Alright, so let's start by writing the logic for the ladybug before writing the logic for the cat. The first thing we want to do is that we want to create clones of the ladybug falling down from the sky. To do that, I'm going to go to events, and let's drag in when flag clicked. So when flag is clicked, we want to create clones of the ladybug continuously. I'm going to go to control and bring in forever, because anytime we want something to happen continuously, we have to use a loop, right? And then let's scroll down and create a clone of myself and place it in. If we click on the flag, nothing is going to happen because we are creating a clone, but we are not doing anything with that clone. We are not moving it away. We are not carrying out any action on the clone. So I'm going to stop this, and let's bring in when I start as a clone. When I start as a clone, what do we want to do? We want the clone to move downwards towards the cat. To do that, we have to change the vertical position. So if I bring the clone down, not the clone rather, the master sprite down close to the cat, you notice that the y-axis, the figure there, is reducing. So that tells us that we have to change y position by a negative number. I'm going to set it back to 180, and let's take a forever loop because we want this to be happening continuously again. So we'll use a forever loop, and then let's go to motion, and let's say change y. So let's look for change y. We're going to change y, and let's do -5. So if I click on flag, this is what happens. It's changing the y position when a clone is created. But now, we also want the x position of the clone to spread out. We want it to be coming from different x positions, not just from the initial x position. So to do that, we are going to set a random x position, which is on the horizontal axis for the clone. Now let's go to motion. We're already in motion, and we need this, go to x and y. Let's go to x and y. And when we start as a clone, the first thing we want to do is to set a random position for that clone. We are going to keep y at 180. For x, we are going to go to operator and we are going to pick a random number. So from the left side of the screen, the right side of the screen is about minus 243 to 243. So at the end on the left, a negative number. So we have 246 here right now. But if I take it to the right end, I have to drag this slowly. Take it to the right end. It's now a positive number. So we are going to do minus 242 rather to 242. So this is going to keep it from one edge of the screen, from the left side to the right side. So we're going to pick a random position between these two figures. Now let's click on the flag to see what happens. So it's starting at a random X position and coming down. We want to do two more things. We want to slow down the rate at which it's creating a clone. Do that. Let's stop it. And after create a clone of myself, let's go to control and drag in wait 1 second. So after creating a clone, it's going to take 1 second to create another clone. We are going to be increasing the pace at which it creates clone later in the second section of this game, but not now. So if I click on the flag, you see it's creating a clone of itself after 1 second. But now we want to delete the clone when it gets to the end of the y-axis. Remember, the end of the y-axis is about 180. To experiment that, to make sure we are right, you can move the bug down here. So right now it's about minus 176. Let's take it up back to 180. So if the top is 180, it means down will also be 180. Let's take an if statement. Let's go to operator and let's take a less than operator. Let's change 50 to minus 180. And we're going to go to motion and take Y position. So we're saying if Y position is less than minus 180, what do we want to do? We're going to go to control and we're going to simply delete this clone. So if I click, you see it's no longer storing those clones at the bottom, it's now deleting them. The next thing we want to do is that we want this master sprite here to also be moving. We don't want it to be static in one position. And if we hide it, we are going to also hide the rest of the clone. So what are we going to do? We also need just the same logic to move it. And writing this logic will be duplication of code. So if you remember from one of our classes, we can create a function, right, by making a block that will execute this code, and we can run it anytime we want for the sprite, right? Let's make a block and let's call this block move bugs. I'm going to collapse the stage a bit and let's put move bugs here. Let's take this entire code and place it under. Now what we need to do is to just call move bugs right here. So if I expand it, I'm going to organize this a bit. Let's bring this down and let's take this to the top. So if I expand my stage, all we need to do is to call move bugs and it's going to execute this block of code. So now that we have that block of code executed by function, You can take another when flag click event, drag it in, and also call move bugs right here, right? So if you click on it, you can see the master sprite is now moving, but when it gets to the end, it's not going off because it's not a clone. What we are doing here is that we are deleting a clone. So we are going to stop this and we are going to fix this by just adding one block. We are going to set Y position. Now this set Y position here is going to refer to the master sprite. We are going to set it to 180. If I click on the flag, let's see. So now everything goes off. And to complete this section of the game, we are going to stop this and let's move now to programming our cat. To program the cat, what we need to do is just to move it around when the left arrow key and the right arrow key is pressed, and that is simple to do. So let's take the when flag click event. Let's bring in control, and then we are going to need two if statements. Let's put one here, and let's go to sensing, and let's take key pressed and change the first this space here to, let's say, right arrow for the first one. So when we are moving by right arrow, we want to change X by 10. Let's go to motion and say change X by 10, because to the right is positive but to the left is negative. Now we are going to duplicate this if block here, and let's do left arrow, and now we have to change positive 10 to negative 10. So when I click the flag, as the bugs are moving, you can change the position of the cat by just clicking left arrow and right arrow to avoid it. So we are going to stop here for this game. Now, as far as what we are going to be doing in the next part of the game, we are going to add collision detection and a scoring system. We're also going to make the game more difficult the longer you play by increasing the number of bugs that falls from the sky, and we are going to make the bugs matter to chase the cat, so it's going to be even more difficult. So I know you don't want to miss this. So if you have been watching this channel for a while, or this is your first time and you like this content, before you leave, I want you to click the like button and hit the subscribe button, and also turn on your notification to be notified anytime we release a video. Thanks, and I'm going to see you in the next video.